Which cooler should I take? Which cooler? Maybe I should use that one, or that one I got out of the garbage can, or that one that has been sitting here for a while, or even this one I used to bring my lunch in. Alright, so as you can see, when it comes to coolers, I've got them all, baby. I've been through them all. I've been sent all of them. Hey, cameraman Ron bought me that one last year. So in this video, I want to talk about what I've learned over the years about all these different coolers, what you need to know, what's the facts and what's not the facts on these things, which one's gonna steal your money, which one's actually worth it, and do you really need any of them, because ice isn't really that expensive. So let's talk about it. I got a lot of opinions. Hold on one second. All right, so look, if you've watched this channel over the years, let me get you straight here, you'll know that I have ice tested, I have beat up, I have used, I have buried, I have sandblasted, I have filled with foam a lot of coolers. And I think I'll link some of the videos here or down here of the ones where I have done Yeti versus regular coolers versus Igloo coolers. Heck, Igloo even sent me some coolers to test. And in all that I learned a few things, okay? You gotta decide whether you wanna be cheap or expensive, okay? And there's a trade-off. Let's say there's a bell curve on this whole thing. You got cheap on one and you got expensive on the other, okay? Yeti being on one side and like the styrofoam cooler being on the other side, okay? So I have, full disclosure, I have Yetis, I have Arctics, I have some that are Yeti knockoffs that are literally Yetis, like that turquoise one right there on the bottom. It's made by some random company. It is literally a Yeti. I have the little Igloo that cameraman Ron bought to me when old Red died. I don't know if y'all saw that, the old vlog. Thank God old Red just died.
Thank goodness. Get rid of that.
No!
We got a pretty Yeti at the camp right now.
It's where I had old Red went with me everywhere. It was a $16 cooler I bought in Austin, Texas when I was in the Army because I needed one to go hanging out on 6th Street, okay? And I bought it and I had it forever until the handle broke off of it. Samantha actually broke the handle. It was on that river vlog. But you know what? For a day's outing, it rocked steady. It was a good go-to cooler. I used it a lot and I learned a few things. That, you know, one thing about a Yeti, somebody will steal that bad boy faster and grease can pop out of a skillet, okay? And that leads a whole new episode of problems. You can't leave it on the beach, somebody gonna take it. He gone, okay, you put it back in the truck. He gone again. I even had to make a latch for it out of like a hurricane strap. Watch that video, I did that one too. It's in that playlist. And you know, you gotta have a cable for it and a good tree to hook it to, and then you gotta unlock it to get another beer. And when you're in full natty light mode and you're just drinking so much, you don't want to have to keep doing that because that gets monotonous too. So, and those things are like 300 bucks, and Samantha put it next to the tailpipe on her car and burnt the thing. Like literally, check this out, hold on. Because this is what they don't tell you on those commercials, okay, with the bear and crap, because don't get me started on that. But look, life happens, okay? This is from Tailpipe, okay? $300 cooler, melted. The drain plug is melted in there. You can't let it, it's not gonna drain water for nothing unless you screw a hole in it, okay? So that's that end of the spectrum. You go on the styrofoam end, it's gonna last 2 days and it's gonna die. So somewhere in between there is a cooler that somebody won't steal and that it'll last long enough. It'll hold a full case of beers, okay, 12 pack. Let's just go with a 12 pack. It'll keep them cool for a day-ish. And, you know, so I realized, you know, because everybody wanted to steal this one, that, you know, something like a little red Igloo cooler or like a nice like Arctic igloo, you know, and that really falls into two. Do you want a bag, like one of those bag coolers, which wear like a backpack? The problem with that is the salt here in Pensacola rusts the zippers in like a year, and they wind up getting a hole in them, and then that's the end of the bag. So you spend $200–300 on an igloo bag and the zipper goes bad. Don't get me started on that. Okay, so you really got to ask yourself, okay, do I want to go expensive and then pay for ice? Well, I freaking hate paying for ice, okay? Or do I want to go cheap for 16 bucks? They used to be 16, and probably 20 now. And a $2 bag of ice, I'm good for the day. Ain't nobody stealing that thing. I can put stickers galore on it, okay? And rock on. It'll stay in the back of my truck. Literally, I never locked that thing up for 5–6 years. Nobody ever stole that bad boy. I got a cheap igloo. It's like an Igloo 20. I put that one on the video too. It's in the back of my truck. All right, so here's what I got going on. As you can see, it has been back here for about 2 years now, I'm guessing. And you can see it's starting to bleach out. Do not buy a white cooler. Whatever you do, don't buy a white cooler, because everything attaches to it. All the dirt, all the mildew, all the mold. Same way with the inside. But this one actually, ice comparison is pretty close to the Yeti. This is just an Igloo 20. I think they're like 75, 80 bucks. I don't know. And it's comparable ice-wise. But like longevity-wise, I keep it locked up with combo lock because I can never find the keys to the regular lock. So, and I take it in and out, in and out. Nobody would probably steal this one if it was just sitting back here without it being locked. But you know what? They can't get off with my seafood, okay? Nobody stole that one yet either, okay? I don't even know what they do with it. They stole it. But they sure enough would steal this one. And one last thing, since I'm editing this video and I gotta say it. Yeti, why didn't you just make it to where you could lock the cooler without your $15 lock accessory? Like, why not just make the handle where it can't come out and I can just lock the handle to whatever I'm locking it to? Like, or just put a lock hole. But the lock holes they put into it, you got to have a thin lock, and you can't open the cooler to get anything out while it's locked. This was a really slick move by Yeti, and I really don't like it. I would almost not pick a Yeti because there's no lock, no place to lock the cooler to something and still be able to open it without their $15 Yeti lock. I had to make one. Crazy. Okay, so I'm going with a middle of the road to low end cooler for a day outing. Maybe put some fish in it, you know, come back from Joe Patty's or from the beach. I'm putting some fish in it with a bag of ice, getting it home, clean it out. I go hang out with my buddies down at the beach for 2 or 3 hours. I'm going with a regular Igloo cooler. If I'm going on a 2-day trip, there's no ice, or I'm going camping, yeah, these do start to get better. But I'll tell you this, if you leave them in the sun, don't bury them. Watch some of my old kayak fishing videos when we would go sit out on the beach all day. I would dig a hole, I would put the cooler in there and put a sun visor over the top of it to reflect the heat. Then it would last all day. But if you watch my comparison videos, you're still not gonna get days worth of ice out of these things. Especially if the cooler was hot when you put the ice in it. And most of the time during the summer, the ice ain't even completely frozen in the bag when you put it in here. So you just gotta keep these things in mind on, do you wanna spend a lot or a little? I would just go with a run-of-the-mill cooler, 2-3 day cooler, which they call it that, but it's really like 2 or 3 hour cooler, okay? And go with that, put the ice in there, go have fun, and stop worrying about locks and leashes and all kinds of stuff for your cooler. And if they steal it, go get another one, because, you know, it just is what it is. You know, I'm gonna draw heat on not being Yeti Nation or Arctic Nation. They're cool. They work, like, they do hold up better besides the exhaust pipe, okay? They hold up better, they'll last longer, but where in that spectrum do you want to be? I got 4 or 5 years out of my red cooler, and honestly, if I'm just riding my bike around the neighborhood and I'm going to my buddy's house, I'm throwing 6 in this bad boy with a little ice pack, and I'm good for 2 or 3 hours, you know? Got my lunch, 4 or 5 beers. If I'm going down to the beach for a few hours, I'll, you know, packed this one. This one was actually like, this one I just have. It's a good something to sit on, okay? Can't sit on a flimsy cooler. But to wrap things up, you really got to break it down to what is important. Do I want a length of time in ice, or do I want price range? And, you know, unless you're camping for 3 or 4 days and ice is going to be nowhere near you, yeah, bigger cooler, more insulation, higher end cooler, it's going to be great. If you're out on a boat for a long period of time, your cooler's sitting in the sun, yes, you want to go with a higher end cooler. But if you're going for less than a day, a few hours to the beach, no, you don't need these fancy coolers. You can put it in the shade, you can throw a towel on top of it, you can do a lot of things that will allow you to get away with a cheaper cooler. Ice is not that expensive, or if you make your own ice or use your own ice at the house and put it in there, you know, these ones like I found out of the garbage can will work for a while. I've got quite a few buddies that have coolers that are 10, 15 years old that are ugly as all galore, but keep the beer just as cold for a few hours. And they're not worried about stealing it, losing it. And honestly, that red cooler and these other red coolers stick to me. Like, they just don't go away. Nobody steals them. They just hang out and I don't lose them, and they just follow me around. But this one tries to get lost all the time. And that's really my random thoughts on coolers. Okay, match your beer with your cooler. If you're a Natty Light guy, go with an Igloo. All right. If you're a doggone craft beer guy, go with your Yeti. Okay. If you are a White Claw dude, Yeti. Okay. If you are a Bud Light Lime guy, Yeti 20 maybe. Okay. You know, you're kind of that middle of the road. So I like White Claws, but you know, a lot of times I throw them in my cheap cooler too. So just saying. I know I'm rambling on this, but I just wanted to make a video to say there's not a lot of difference in a lot of these things. This one will last a while. The red ones will last 4 or 5 years. And I just don't really see what the big deal is with these coolers. I mean, don't go crazy with it. Buy a good product that'll last a while. Know if you're taking it in the salt, it's going to corrode. The zipper is going to corrode. Even the handles on this one's corroding. You know, these rubber doohickeys right here break. Yeah, it's my opinion on it. I know there's 9 million comparison videos out there, but I've compared them too, and I've used them for 4 or 5 years now. And those white Igloos are like $100. These are like $300. And there's not a lot of difference other than the durability of them. And odds are life's going to happen. Somebody's going to steal it. You're going to light it on fire. You're going to break it before it even dies anyway. So, you know, use some common sense on these things, and I'll see you on the next video. I just had to make this one.